Welcome to our fourth episode of Status Through a Telescope. This week, we will be focusing our lens on set design. We will be looking at 5 types of set design in this episode, which are minimalism, abstract, realism, symbolism, and fantasy set, my favorite. But first, let's look on what set design is. Set design is the creation of the physical space in which the action of a performed event takes place. So set design creates the scenery, furniture, props, appearance, and overall look and style of the stage. Let's look on the different types of set design. The first one is minimalism set. In a minimalism set, you use minimal objects to highlight the scene or setting you want to display. So minimalism set uses pieces of stage furniture or props to indicate a setting or location. For example, a table and 2 chairs could indicate a restaurant scene. The identity of a space is determined by the way in which the actors behave. So let's get back to the restaurant scene. An audience would know that it is a restaurant scene based on how the characters interact with each other, or even if there aren't any menus, cups, plates, or other finer details shown on stage. We, the audience, would know it's a restaurant scene based on the characters' dialogue and how they behave using minimal props and furniture scene. Now on to abstract set. Abstract stage design uses light, space, and props to create a suggestive environment for a performance. This includes using only a few props that work to suggest an environment rather than a design creating the actual setting. Abstract stage design suggests that a story is taking place in a general time or an unspecified place rather than creating a particular location. For instance, you decide to set up your abstract setting by using a blue fabric on stage to suggest that you are in the middle of the ocean. Now on to realism. In a realistic set, you use objects as it is. Props that are used are meant to look like real life, and so items reflect details even down to the smallest things. For example, if you are creating a living room scene, you would have a sofa, mat, coffee table, curtains, even a clock on the wall, and much more to represent the scene realistically on stage. Symbolic set. This is a representative language. It projects an idea as opposed to what you see. Symbolism sets are more interested in communicating an idea to the audience rather than representing real life. This type of set design allows the designers to choose an image that they think represents the key themes of the play and to interpret this as a stage set. For example, a yellow chair is set at center stage with a backdrop depicting a seascape. During specified scenes, a character visits this set, which is called the therapy room, to resolve their problems. The set design that is done here would be a symbolistic set, as it is used to represent a place of peace for the character. Now on to fantasy set. This set design allows the designer to create a world that is imaginative. Designers create a make-believe location without the constraints of a world that is believable to the audience. For example, showing a design of an upside-down house on stage to display a drama of little elves. This set design would reflect a fairy tale concept and not a real life representation. Now let's do a short recap of the 5 types of set designs we just went through. Number 1. Minimalism set. In this design, you use minimal objects to highlight a scene or setting you want to display. Number 2. Abstract. Designs are often suggestive and the design is not meant to be literal. Props are used as something totally different. Number 3. Realism. Props and sets are used to represent a real life setting. Number 4. Symbolism set. This set design is used to represent something else other than a literal meaning. And number 5. Fantasy set. Props and sets are created to look imaginative and fairy tale-like. Creating various designs for a production or performance is very important as it allows your work to have depth and to be organized. This in turn will trigger interest from the audience and also highlight the amount of work and thought that was put in place to create the work that is shown. Well, that's a wrap. We are now at the end of our lesson. Please type in the comment section something new you have learned. Subscribe if you have not done so and share the video. See you in the next episode of Theatre Through a Telescope.